at Stanford University.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm sorry we are a few minutes late in starting. On behalf of Iranian Studies at Stanford University and the Bita Endowment for Persian Arts, I welcome you all. This is a rather important, it happened this way. It happened to be a very important event and evening for us. We are moving into the 10th year of having an Iranian Studies program at Stanford. And in this year, we have the good fortune of making three major events, three major changes, I think, in the fabric of Iranian Studies at Stanford. One is, 10 days ago, I went to Switzerland with the head of the archive, and we brought back 94 boxes of Ardashir Zahidi's papers, which are, no doubt, the most important archival collection on Iran, US foreign relations existing outside Iran. There are 4 boxes of pictures, many of them never seen. We are going to soon have them available for everyone. Second, we are very happy to say that we also have now at Stanford arguably the single greatest collection of papers by a major Iranian writer. We now have the entire private papers donated to us by Hushangi Golshiri's family. We're going to have a launch of the program in January with some members of the Golshiri family here, and it is a very, very unusual collection. And of course, the third major event of this year is that the Bita Prize is going to Professor Yarshater, who embodies what Iranian Studies has meant in America for the last 60 years. The way the program is going to go on is that I will say a few words about our Dean Saller. He will kindly come and welcome you all. Then I will come back and say a few words about Professor Yarshater. That will be followed by a small presentation in Persian by Professor Beyzai. We can't have an event for Professor Yarshater without some wonderful Persian, and we can't imagine someone doing more great service to the Persian language than our own Professor Beyzai. After that, Ms. Daryabari will come, and the event will end with Professor Yarshater accepting the prize and making some comments. If the Iranian Studies program has been at Stanford, it was initially because of the vision of Hamid and Christina Muqaddam. That was 10 years ago. 8 years ago, the program was greatly expanded because of the generosity of Bita Daryabari. But if we have all of this at Stanford, money is not enough. Money is not what makes it happen. What also needs to have at the university is a leadership that is committed, that understands and supports the value of Iranian Studies. And we have been greatly fortunate to have as our Dean, Dean Saller, who has been relentless in his support for Iranian Studies, for his support of all things that Stanford has been lacking, Iranian Studies amongst them. He comes to Stanford from the University of Chicago, where he was the provost of the university, and where he was also the dean of its legendary School of Social Science. So please welcome Dean Saller.
It's a real honor to be with you this evening and to be able to welcome you to Stanford. I want to thank Abbas because resources are important, and perhaps a friendly university administrator can be valuable, but without the intellectual leadership of Dr. Milani, this program would not be thriving in the way that it is. And I'm delighted to be here for the 8th annual presentation of the Bita Prize for Persian Arts. I remember the first prize awarded 8 years ago, and it was in a room about 1/10 this size. And so the growth and fame of this over the years is really a pleasure to watch. The reason for the thriving of the program, I think, has to do with Dr. Milani's breadth of vision. And I've been struck, as Dean of Humanities and Sciences, I cover, or my school covers a lot of ground, and to see in Dr. Milani's leadership a vision that spans the arts and the social sciences and the sciences, I think is great testimony to the richness of Iranian culture right now. I myself am a Roman and Greek historian, and so I'm acutely aware of the depth of tradition and culture from Persia. Dr. Milani has promoted a program here that really is comprehensive. Right now, we're in the second year of a 3-year Stanford Festival of Iranian Arts. The conferences, film screenings, plays, and exhibits supported by the Amin Banani Memorial Fund, Bita Daryabari, and Hamid and Christina Moghadam have supported a display of modern Iranian art that is enriching the Stanford campus and community. I need hardly say that there's never been a time when it's been more important for our students and our broader community to become more deeply knowledgeable about Iran and its culture and tradition. The remarkable breadth, I think, is demonstrated in the fact that the program is also now working with the Laboratory of Behavioral and Cognitive Neurology at the Stanford School of Medicine on a project called Science and Society, Frontiers of the Mind. This 3-year pilot project, funded by Hamid and Christina Moghadam, helps us to understand the interface of neuroscience with society, particularly important in light of the intellectual debates on the nature of science and knowledge in Iran. And finally, I want to give my personal thanks to Bita, because one of my goals as dean over the last 8 years has been to build the studies in that part of Southwest Asia, and without Bita's support, we would not have made the progress that we've made at Stanford in that area, so I'm really grateful for that. So now I want to invite Dr. Milani to come back up and proceed with the program.
Since I knew Professor Yarshater was going to be here, I decided to write my talk so I don't make any mistakes. If anybody has ever written anything for Encyclopedia Iranica, you would know how rigorous he is with making sure every comma is in the right place. So I'm trying to have the commas in the right place. A paradox of Iranian history is that while there has been no dearth of great men and women, they have invariably failed to translate their passion or genius into enduring institutions. And history teaches us that monuments and institutions endure while individual feats of genius or discovery become at best desperate stars of a luminous yet inconstant cosmos. Professor Ehsan Yarshater is one of the rare exceptions in Iranian history, comparable only to Dekhoda, whose Encyclopedia of Persian Language is a monument to a reasoned patriotism. Professor Yarshater is both himself a monument and a monument maker. His patriotism is steeped in erudition and scholarship, delightfully bereft of bombast or dogma. For more than half a century, his vocation and avocation, his work and his leisure, the focus of his singular dedication and his legendary work habit, his truly interdisciplinary erudition and curiosity, has been the Encyclopedia Iranica. What you see on that stage is what has already been published, and many more entries are on the internet. In Encyclopedia Iranica, he is creating a polyphonic symphony to a great culture and civilization that has been more than 3,000 years in the making. The symphony he conducts covers everything from archaeology, geography, ethnography, history, artistic, literary, religious, linguistic, biographical, philosophical, scientific, and folkloric aspects of ancient, middle, and modern Iran. Prominent scholars from all over the world are invited to write the entries. So far, almost 7,000, and increasing every day. Each entry is peer-reviewed and rigorously edited. Anyone who has had the good fortune to have written for Iranica knows the meticulous care that goes into ensuring exhaustive rigor in presenting each and every subject. At the same time, any random browsing of a volume offers a truly fascinating collection of everything from the esoteric to the sublime, from a grand historic vista to the minutiae of an ancient Iranian icon. The entire ongoing edifice is now available online. While many of its entries are distillations of a lifetime of research, others have begun new books and projects themselves. 20 years ago, I was asked to write a 2,500-word entry on Amir Abbas Hoveyda. That article became the book that has now gone into more than 30 prints and translated into Persian and Kurdish. Without Iranica, I am confident the book on Hoveyda would have never existed. While Iranica is surely the monument of his life, even before his ambitious launch of it in 1974, Professor Yarshater had helped create other, perhaps smaller, intellectual monuments in Iran. He launched and for years edited Rahnamai Kitab, generally considered the first serious journal of book reviews in the country. His stewardship of the Organization for Translation and Publication, Bangah Tarjume va Nashr Kitab, played a critical role in preparing hundreds of carefully selected, translated, and edited masterpieces of world literature into Persian. In America, too, aside from his Iranica, he has launched and edited 2 prestigious publication series that have given us everything from the most authoritative edition of our epic poem Shahnameh, edited by Jalal Khaliqi Mutlaq, to the brilliant satirical masterpieces of Ubayd Zakani, edited by Muhammad Jafar Mahjoub. Finally, there are scholars who consider Professor Yarshater's contribution to Iranian linguistics, particularly his groundbreaking research on dialectics of Iran, to be amongst the most enduring monuments of his productive life. To all he does, Professor Yarshater brings a refined aesthetic sense and sensibility. From his impeccable sartorial style to the decor of his elegant but simple Columbia faculty apartment, from the woman he loved and married to the precise, parsimonious, and rich prose he writes, beauty, elegance, and always a touch of Persian are invariably evident. His Persian prose is considered exemplary in a simple but inimitable refinement, what we call in Persian sahl o mumtane', while the literary journal segments he has published in Iran Shanasi are also evidence of his voracious appetite to read all that pertains to Iran, as well as his generosity in praising or reviewing works of young artists, scholars, painters, and poets. Remarkably, for many years, and long before modern Persian paintings became the darling of museums and galleries, Professor Yarshater's book on modernist Persian painting was the first and most reliable source on the subject. His intimate personal familiarity with many of the great Iranian artists of his generation and his discerning eye for a masterpiece meant that by mid-80s he had an invaluable collection of great art. He sold not only his paintings, but his entire collection of first edition books and donated all the proceeds to the foundation he created to ensure the long-term survival of Iranica. In an interview not long ago, Professor Yarshater was asked what keeps him awake at night and what is new in his life. His responses are startlingly honest and revealing. I often wake up in the middle of the night, he said, thinking about who we can find to write the new entries for the encyclopedia. I also wake up, he said, thinking about my deceased wife and wish she were here. Then, ruminating about life in general, he said, I only fear death if it comes before I can finish the encyclopedia. To be or not to be is not for him the question. To finish the encyclopedia, he says, is the reason he wants to live. As to the question of what is new in his life, he said he's learning Russian. Though he's a polyglot, at around 90, he still wants to master yet another language. Let me end by paraphrasing a line from one of the seminal works of Iranian history, Tarikh Behaqi. Kar be mard buzurg shavad, na mard be kar. Applied in this case, some are made great by prizes they win, and a few honor the prizes they accept. You, Professor Yarshater, are of that rare second group. The Bita Prize is surely greater now that it can add you to its already illustrious roster of past recipients. Every student and scholar of Iran, every patriot of Persia, every admirer of the endless possibilities of individual dedication to the world of ideas or to the pursuit of ambitious projects owes you today and will owe you for all tomorrows a great debt of gratitude. May you live long and increase our rapidly rising debt to you. May you have the satisfaction of finishing the greatest monument of your monumental scholarship. And finally, may you have success in your effort to learn Russian. After all, Russian can be more difficult than the Sogdian you mastered 70 years ago. Thank you.
با اجازهتون آقای یارشتر، آموزگاران ندیده خود را سپاس میگویم که بیشمار از آنها سپاس نادیده به تاریخ پیوستند و دریغا که ما نه تنها در کار آموختن که در سپاسگویی آموزگاران نیز همیشه دیر جنبیدیم. من سر درس صادق هدایت نبودم که گریزان از درس گفتن بود. سر درس ملک الشعرا بهار نبودم که درس هم میگفت. و سر درس پور داوود نبودم که یک عمر پژوهنده و برگرداننده و آموزگار زبان و ادبیات و اساطیر پیش از اسلامی بود. از ایشان آموختم بدون دیدنشان، از طریق خط و نگارش و خوانش، و از آن سوی زمان آموزگاران ندیده خویش را میشناسم. من سر درس دهخدا نبودم که در شعر، مردم شناسی و واژه اندوزی دست داشت، ولی به لطف لغتنامه که فرهنگی نیز هست در اندازه توان خود از وی چیزها آموختم. و راستی که وامدار آموزگاران دیده و نادیده خویش میمانم اگر آنچه را که گرفتم به دیگران نسپارم. در پس کوشش‌های همه این آموزگاران دیده و ندیده، عشق به سرزمین مادری دیده می شود و مردم بددیده اش که سزاوار بهترند. مردمی که منگ ضربه‌های تاریخی و جغرافیایی هر دو در خود ناشناسی اکنون دیرینه شده، گیج و گم و دست پاچه از تله‌ای به تله‌ای می‌افتند و دست و پا زنان کاری نمی‌توانند مگر چون غریقی دیگران را نیز با خود فرو کشند. روشنفکران و دانشوران راه بیرون رفت از این خود ناشناسی و تله‌های پشت تله را می‌جویند. چراغ عمر می‌سوزند و روشنی می‌بخشند و چرا روشنی باید چشم کوراندیشی را بزند. من هرگز وقت آن را نداشتم که سر درس احسان یارشاتر باشم، ولی از زمانی که ترجمه متن سغدی جنگ رستم و دیوان را از او خواندم، سال 1331 خورشیدی 1952 میلادی. خواه نخواه وی از آموزگاران سالها ندیده من است. در آن ترجمه و حتی بعدی با نام ایندرا نمیشد آن شخصیتی را در او پیش بینی کرد که سالها پس از آن از او دیده شد. درست در هنگامی که در ایران میکوشند با هزینه‌های گزاف و دستبردهای گزافه‌تر به بازمانده‌های تاریخی مردمان را ترک هویت دهند و به ابهام و تاریکی گم کننده و سودآور خود باز کشند، او آرام آرام از یک دانشمند دقیق و آموزگار پشت میز نشین بیرون آمد و به یک گسترش دهنده عملی و فعال فرهنگ بدل شد. دانشوری با طرحی بزرگ برای شناساندن فرهنگی که از آن آمده. در ایران انتشار فرهنگ جهان می‌کرد و در جهان به انتشار فرهنگ ایران پرداخت. ایرانیکا یعنی همین. و این سرزمین نمانده است مگر بدین جنبش‌های یکتنه در هر عصری و گرد آوردن جنبش‌های یکتنه. ما مردم زمانه می‌توانیم فتیله چراغی را که روشنی می‌بخشد بالا بکشیم تا روشنیش همه را برسد و یا آنقدر پایین بکشیم که پاک بیفسرد و خاموش شود. و راستی خوش آنان که تا واپس این دم روشنی بخشیدند. یارشاتر، سپاس همت تو که از تو باز این چراغ روشن شد.
Good evening and welcome. With your permission, I would like to start my talk in Persian and then I will switch back into English. دوستان و مهمانان عزیز، به 8مین مراسم بزرگداشت بزرگان اندیشه و ادب ایران در دانشگاه استنفورد خوش آمدید. 8 سال پیش که جایزه بیتا را آغاز کردیم، قاعدتاً به سختی تصور می‌شد که چنین مجموعه درخشانی از ستاره‌های ادبی و هنری به این دانشگاه بزرگ بیایند و در عین دریافت این جایزه به ما و به جامعه ایرانی در هر جایی که هستند این فرصت را بدهند که قدرشان را بدانیم و کارشان را سپاس بداریم. گونه‌گونی این شخصیت‌ها از شاعر بی‌نظیرمان سیمین بهبهانی تا محمد رضا شجریان که صدای همه آرزوهای ماست و برایش آرزوی سلامتی داریم، بیشتر از هر چیز مؤید غنای کم نظیر فرهنگ و ادب ماست و شگفت این که استاد یارشاتر مهمان بالا مقام امشب ما در همه عرصه‌های مختلف و متعدد کار بزرگانی که پیشتر این جایزه را دریافت کرده‌اند تأثیر و اغلب اثری ماندگار داشته. ایرانیکایی که به همت استاد یارشاتر تا حال به اینجا رسیده و حتما هم به سرمنزل مقصود او خواهد رسید، چون یک قالی نفیس ایرانی است. در هر مقاله آن چون هر گره قالی 1001 ظرافت است و در ترکیب نهایی این گره ها تصویری از عظمت تاریخ 3000 ساله ایران. همه ما که به ایران و فرهنگش دل بسته ایم، همه کسانی که بخواهند در مورد ایران و تاریخش تحقیق کنند، مدیون زحمات خستگی ناپذیر استاد یارشاترند. یکی از کسانی که به استاد یارشاتر دینی شخصی و قدیمی دارد، پدر من دکتر مرتضی دریاباری است که خوشبختانه امشب با ما هستند. 75 سال پیش پدرم در دبیرستان علمیه شاگرد استاد یارشاتر بودند در اولین تجربه تدریسش. از طرف همه شاگردان استاد یارشاتر و همه کسانی که از مجموعه بسیار غنی آثارش بهره برده‌اند از ایشان تشکر می‌کنم و حضورشان را در بین ما قدر می‌شناسم. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome. Thank you all for joining us in celebrating the 8th annual Bita Award at Stanford. I want to offer my special words of gratitude to Dean Saller, who at every turn has been supportive of our efforts and whose interest in promoting Iranian studies at Stanford has been essential to the success of our program. Thank you. One of the most exciting aspects of establishing this endowment for me has been working with and learning from Dr. Milani. I'm deeply grateful to his extraordinary leadership, vision, and dedication to our program. Thank you, Dr. Milani. I want to also thank Ms. Roma Parhat. Anyone who has ever organized an event of this magnitude knows the enormous number of details and the endless hours of planning it requires. Roma has joined the Iranian Studies program a couple of months ago and has been delightfully efficient, pleasant, helpful, and a pleasure to work with. Thank you, Roma. 8 years ago, when I launched this endowment and the prize, it would have been hard to imagine a more remarkable list of luminaries who have each year come to this great institution and received this prize. Their diversity and the richness of their individual contributions has been a testimony to the rich cultural heritage of our Iran. And remarkably, our 8th winner, Professor Yarshater, has made some significant contributions in all past winners' domains. His monumental Encyclopedia Iranica is like a brilliant Persian carpet. Every knot in the form of each article, carefully, rigorously, and tastefully prepared, and together in their majestic vista, the entire collection offering an opulent tapestry of the 3,000-year history of Iran. Everyone who wants to study Iran, who cares about its legacy and culture, who worries about its languages and literature, owes Professor Yarshater an endless debt of gratitude. Here I want to use this opportunity and offer a special individual word of thanks from an old student to his teacher. 75 years ago, my father, Dr. Daryabari, was a student of Professor Yarshater during his first, and as far as I know, the only tenure as a high school teacher. On behalf of my father, myself, and all who have been directly and indirectly your students, thank you. And it is in recognition of this singular contribution that we are honored to present him with the 8th Bita Award for Persian Arts. Please join me in welcoming Professor Ehsan Yarshater.
سلام دوستان بسیار گرامی، از همه شما بی اندازه ممنونم که لطف کردید و تشریف آوردید و بیش از همه از چند تنی که راجع به کارهای ناچیز من صحبت کردن و من تمام مدت در دلم میگفتم کاش من لایق این توصیف های مبالغ آمیزی که بعضی ها نسبت به من اظهار کردن. خانم دری حباری با بخشندگی و کرم خاصی که با دایر کردن این جایزه های که به اشخاص داده میشه موجب شهرت بیشتری دانشگاه استنفورد شدن. من هم به نوبه خودم از کسانی هستم که کاریشون و کرمیشون رو بسیار قدر میشناسم و تحسین میکنم. ولی من اینطور بوده که در سالهای اخیر هر وقت که اسم دانشگاه استنفورد به میان آمده من فوراً اسم خانم دریاباری رو به ذهن آوردم و در دلم احساس امتنان عجیبی و تشکر فوق‌العاده‌ای از ایشون که از سرمایه شخصی خودشون مبالغ هنگفتی برای کسانی که در رشته ایرانی شناسی کار کردن تخصیص دادن و بیش از این و بزرگتر از این تشویقی نمیشه در نظر آورد. من همچنین از آقای دکتر عباس میلانی کمال امتنان رو دارم که پشتیبانی خودشون رو نسبت به این جلسه و نسبت به یک نوع قدرشناسی که من خودم رو به راستی لایق اون نمیدونم ابراز کردن. از همه شما دوستان و عزیزان ممنونم که صرف وقت کردید و بسیاری از شما رنج سفر رو بر خودتون هموار کردید و من رو با حضور خودتون مفتخر فرمودید. امیدوارم که اینها همه موجب بشه که من با کوشش بیشتری در راه مطالعات ایران شناسی و خدمت به کشور عزیزمون قدم بردارم. این عرایض خودم رو با امتنان مجدد از لطف همه شما پایان میدم.